Hello, my lovely, lovely unicorns! Thank you for taking a moment out of your lives to be with me today. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos in this mini-series, then feel free to click above me for at least one of those right now. And to not miss any video, make sure you subscribe to see more in the future. Today, I'll be continuing on with another 7 ideas from the 2016 book by Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a And by now, you will have noticed that some ideas directly correlate to others and appear similar, but also distinct in their own right. So let's jump straight into it. Alright, so here we go. Idea 15, the do something principle. In this idea, Manson expresses that we are always in the process of approaching truth and perfection without actually ever reaching truth and perfection. Action isn't just the effect of motivation, it's also the cause of it. And most of us only commit to action if we feel a certain motivation to do it. If we wait for inspiration to take action, sometimes that inspiration just doesn't come around anywhere near fast enough and can result in a lot of waiting, right? And instead of actually, doing. Yeah, do it. Manson mentions that we should start doing and then the feelings will follow. We often assume to take an action we must have an emotional inspiration followed by a motivation and then begin. However, it's not a 3-part chain, it's an endless loop. Your actions create further emotional reactions and inspirations and go on to motivate further actions. So, taking advantage of this, we can actually flip the steps into action, inspiration, motivation, which is why Manson's notion that we should start doing and then the feelings will follow is quite accurate. And if you lack the motivation to make an important change in your life, start by doing something. Just anything. Start now. Right now. Idea 16. Reject entitlement. Manson tells us to get rid of the idea that you deserve something just because you are who you are. When you feel entitled, you're waiting for the universe to give you what you think you're owed. Like, you should have $10 million in your bank account right now without actually working for it, right? That the relationship will just be magical without you investing in it. Or someone will just love you just because you are who you are without putting in any goddamn effort in the first place. Unfortunately, life does not work like that. But when we have the mindset of entitlement, we kind of think that's how it is. And this mindset unfortunately brings bitterness and disappointment when you don't get the things that you want. We've been there, right? Yeah, so we have to break that. You need to recognize that the spotlight is not always on you, except on me, because it's always on me. I joke. You're not the center of attention. All the time, anyway. And no one owes you anything. Sad, bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? And it does not mean that you're not enough or valued. It's about humility. And your self-worth is not about what you have or get, but on what you do and treat others. I'm going to say that part again, okay? It does not mean you are not enough or valued. It's about humility and your self-worth. It's not about what you have or what you get, but on what you do and treat others. And the rejection of entitlement states that if you want something, you go out and work for it. It's about action and the effort behind this action, which kind of brings us back to the other idea, right? And taking responsibility that your life is in your own hands and you make your own luck. Idea 17, the dangers of social media. I've said this so many times on my streams, guys. By the way, I stream on Twitch if you ever want to come over and join me while I play games or play community games, or else, of course, talk about philosophy and other stuff. You never know, world events. Anyway, that aside, Manson critiques social media's impact on our self-perception and values. He argues that social media often promotes superficial comparisons and unrealistic expectations. I know. You see it all the time, guys. If you go onto your search bar on Instagram, for example, you're going to definitely see that. You go onto TikTok, you're going to be just influenced by everything and anything. It's just, we got to kind of calm it down a little bit, So just, there's so many superficial comparisons out there and unrealistic expectations. When that happens, it just leads to dissatisfaction, along with the pushing of responsibilities onto others. Anyone who is offended about anything just runs to social media to post injustices, how they or others are so offended, how they're all so oppressed, and flaunting the victimhood mentality. It gets goddamn boring and we get sick of it. When social media, on the side here, me just talking off the cuff completely, when social media first started, it was all about, sharing photos to your friends and things like that, right? Just meaningful little interactions, posting a couple of photos at the weekend, you went out for drinks or a nice dinner or whatever. And what is it now? It's all about content. Content is constantly just flooded into our faces every second. And we just get tired of it. We are drained by this constant content abuse. So we just need to be able to reel that back a bit and use social media more responsibly. And by being aware of this influence, we can consciously choose how we engage with these platforms. And this awareness helps protect our mental well-being and fosters a healthier self-image. Idea 18, the pursuit of meaning. In this idea, Manson distinguishes between the pursuit of happiness, great movie by the way, and the pursuit of meaning. He argues that while happiness is fleeting, meaning provides a deeper sense of fulfillment. And he also argues between pleasure and happiness, and how pleasure is quick fixes, whereas happiness doesn't come from one single moment. But whereas happiness can also fade, at least what many define as happiness, when we turn to our North Star, to purpose, we feel a true sense of what happiness is. Engaging in activities that align with our values and contribute to something larger than ourselves fosters a sense of purpose. By prioritizing meaningful pursuits, we can cultivate lasting satisfaction and resilience and bring truly meaningful happiness. So, point that North Star, guys. Point it towards purpose. Idea 19, authenticity and vulnerability, in which Manson emphasizes the importance of being authentic and vulnerable in our lives. He argues that embracing our true selves and being open about our struggles fosters genuine connection with others. There's too much fakeness. Nobody wants to be vulnerable anymore. They don't want to show their emotions because maybe it's from past baggage when they once showed their feelings and now they got hurt or it betrayed them to some reason, right? And vulnerability allows us to be relatable and create deeper relationships by breaking down the barriers of perfectionism and fear. Fear's a big one. Fear is a huge one that stops us from truly being authentic. By being vulnerable, like I mentioned, it could be from the baggage, people that hurt you in the past and stuff, And by showing our true selves, we invite others to do the same. When you're being authentic, you can invite someone to be authentic with you. When you're being vulnerable, people feed into that and they can show that they're in a safe space and they can also be vulnerable with you too. And that can lead to more meaningful interactions at the end of the day. Idea 20, the concept of Manson's law of avoidance, in which he describes basically avoiding basic responsibilities that we may have. Imagine if you have a pile of clothes in your bedroom and just nothing's getting done about it. I'm not referencing myself, by the way, and I'm certainly not going looking over to the corner of my room right now, because there isn't. They're in a pile. The dirty clothes are in a pile, but they're in a hamper. That's where they're meant to be, right? So just don't look at me at this. And I'm not going referencing the pile of socks. They are clean, but I need to fold them. But, sometimes I need to make a video and I just happen to have a weird mind on when, the order of how I'm going to get things done throughout the day. But this isn't about me, okay? And folding socks. But look, it can, I guess, apply. I'm not perfect. As we already described before, we're not talking about perfectionism here, all right? So let's bring it back. Brrr. Imagine that you see a pile of dirty clothes in your bedroom and you just let them sit there in that pile on the floor or in the basket or wherever the hell they are in the bedroom. And you'll say, do it another time. Yeah, just do another time. And, throughout the week, you keep seeing that pile and you pretend it just ain't there, right? The longer you ignore this pile, the worse the thoughts get about it, right? It's like, oh no, I have to do that pile again. Oh my God, it's still there. And it's like, oh, I need to do it. Like, the more we avoid it, right? It's the worse that it gets. And they keep invading your thought space all the time, which could be reserved for something much more meaningful, like a better energy, better thoughts, right? So the law states that the more uncomfortable something makes us, the more we try to avoid it. And the more that we avoid it, the more uncomfortable it actually becomes. Just like a domino effect or a snowball gaining in size as it rolls down through some snow on a hill, right? So think of the dirty clothes, Jay. Wait, they're in the hamper. Think of the socks, Jay. No, that's not me. They'll be done in a moment. I know they're there and I know I need to get them done. They will be done. I promise you. They're going to be done after I make this video, okay? Let's talk about you, okay? So think of a recent time that you intentionally avoided doing something. Now question why you did it. Now you're more aware of it, right? Than ever before, and you will understand the emotion you felt behind it. So, simple little exercise to think about something that you intentionally avoided and question, why did you do it? Why did you avoid that? And now you're more aware of the whole process. And that's all what it is. It's just a very simple exercise. You can do that anytime, and you can ask any of your friends to do the same thing to help jog that self-awareness. Take the dirty clothes again, for example, and imagine you just added them to some schedule and you just did them. You got them out of the way. Maybe you found a more fun way to handle them at the same time, to turn this chore into something actually a little bit more fun, like by adding music to the mix while you put them into the washing machine and then hang them out to dry, for example, or when you're putting them into the tumble dryer. You know that step-by-step process? Maybe it's boring as hell, but maybe you're going to do it and you're going to make a game out of it. Maybe you're putting music on. Or how about you put them in a schedule? Let's say, for example, on a Sunday evening, you're going to be like, okay, going to do the laundry on Sunday evening, which is where you're going to put them into the washing machine, you're going to put them into the tumble dryer, and then you're going to fold them immediately after, right? While all doing it to music or something like that. Like, did that not feel better? And did that not make you feel more accomplished? Instead of ignoring it, it got it out of the way, you made it a little bit more fun, or it was into the schedule instead of avoiding it. So you avoided all of the uncomfortableness at the same time. The point is that when we face what we avoid, usually it's not as bad as we thought, and it was all in our head. Like Franklin Roosevelt once said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And the final idea for today, idea 21, relationships and responsibility, in which Manson explores the dynamics of relationships, emphasizing that they require mutual responsibility and effort. He shows us that fault is past tense and results from choices that we have already made. Whereas responsibility is the present tense, resulting from choices we are currently making. He argues that healthy relationships are built on a foundation of honesty and accountability, and that each person must take responsibility for their own feelings and actions, rather than placing the blame on the other person. You are not responsible for other people's emotions and vice versa. Right? So this mutual responsibility fosters deeper connections and allows relationships to thrive. Nobody is ever responsible for your unhappiness but you. And that's a bitter pill to sometimes swallow, unfortunately, because you are the person, you are the greatest enemy of your own goddamn self. And this is because you always get to choose how you see things, how you react to things, and how you value things. You always get to choose the metric by which to measure your experiences, right? And no one is responsible for this situation but you. So the faster you get that into your head, the better you're going to be. Don't place the blame on someone else. put the responsibility on you. And once again, you are responsible for your behavior, for your actions, and basically how you're going to react to everything that happens around you. And guys, there we have it. We have 21 out of 28 ideas in this mini-series done, and we have come full circle with the hat at the same time, and maybe around again for good measure. And these ideas today that we presented further encapsulate Manson's philosophies and encourages us to cultivate resilience and find meaning in their experience. So thank you very much once again for joining me on this mini-series so far, guys, and ask yourself, which idea stood out to you? Maybe let us know down in the comments. Let us know. Maybe even on our Discord as well. So sound them off in the comments below, and I look forward to reading it and reacting to it at the same time. And if you missed any of our previous ideas, stay tuned for a video to watch next, or check out any of our other videos on the channel. I've been your friend Jay, guys. You take care.